Hey world, welcome to the Sherese Nicole podcast. I created this space where I'll discuss life lessons, personal stories, observations, unsolicited advice, and ramblings that go on in my chattering mind. Every so often, I will pull in guests to provide different perspectives and discuss a range of topics from nutrition to travel and all things in between. So without further ado, let's get into it. So today's episode is really special. I have another guest, another long-time friend. I've known this girl since high school, which was over over 15 years. 15 years ago. And our stories are really similar because, after high school, we ended up working together in a couple of jobs.
Yeah.
And then we kind of found our way online and became content creators. So I thought it'd be perfect to bring her on. So I just want to put it over to you. Have you introduced yourself to my listeners?
Oh my God. So I am Sanny, or known as Sanny Beauty online, Instagram and on YouTube. And yeah, so I'm a makeup artist here. I've been doing makeup for, I don't even know how long. On myself for a long time, but actually doing it professionally, quote unquote, 7 years now, about 7 years when I started working at Mac. So yeah, and now I have a new beauty studio that's open. So
congrats again.
Thanks girl.
Because I didn't know, so I knew that you wanted to open up your own, I think it was a wedding.
Yes, I wanted it to be more bridal, yeah.
But then you ended up doing it like this, which is fine anyways, because either way, your dreams manifest into reality.
True, yeah.
So yeah, congrats. That's a big deal. So I wanted to, bring you on here and have us talk about how you even got there in the first place. But I kind of wanted to go back to, you said you were into makeup for a while.
Yes.
How did you end up in makeup? Because I didn't even know you were interested in it. So we worked together at a retail store, and then I remember you were just trying to apply at Mac.
Yes.
You applied twice or something?
No, actually, yes, you're right. That was a long time ago. Oh my God. Okay, so basically how this all started, I used to just do makeup on myself and watch YouTube videos and stuff like that, like everybody else, And when we worked together at Massimo, on my break time, I used to pass the Mac store. So I'd pass through the Mac store and I'll just look around. But that manager there used to always be like, oh, I like your makeup. Why don't you apply? And I was like, no, you have to go to school for makeup. So I'm not going to school for no makeup,
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, yeah, you never know. He would always say, you never know. So that kind of was always in my head. Or sometimes I'd be coming to work and people would be like, did you just get your makeup done this morning? And I'm like, what? No. Who the hell's getting their makeup done? I just never thought that I didn't know about freelancing at that time. So, and then fast forward, my sister, she was at a Mac store and she doesn't know anything really about makeup, but whatever she sees me doing, she would do. She was at a Mac store one day and there was a woman there and she's like, hey, I really like your makeup. Are you a makeup artist? And she's like, no, I learned whatever from my sister. And she's like, oh, is your sister a makeup artist? And she's like, no, but she really likes makeup. So then she's like, oh, I'm the regional, I don't know what she was at that time, but basically she was a recruiter for some parts of Canada, and she was doing a visit at that store. So when she saw
an Eaton Center?
No, it's at Scarborough Town Center actually. So she was doing a visit and saw my sister, and she's like, okay, tell your sister to email me. Here's my card. So I emailed her, and she was like, yeah, come to Yorkdale at 9 a.m. for a makeup demo. So I had to bring a model and my brushes and do makeup, and then they timed me. Fast forward, I go to Yorkdale, do the makeup. Cool. I moved on to the second round, which is an interview. That manager, she interviewed me and then literally didn't call me back. And I was still working at Massimo at this time. So I think around March of that year, she called me back. That was 3 months after the interview, by the way. And she called back to say, sorry, we're not offering you the position.
Well, 3 months later,
so I was
no.
What? I forgot about this. What? But anyway, fast forward, the October of that year, the same friend that I brought to do the interview with me, as my model, she ended up being enrolled in makeup school. So she's like, hey, because at that time Mac didn't tell anybody that they're hiring or anything. It was all internal or for students. Yeah, so anyway, she said that she's going to the job fair and to come with her. I was like, are you crazy? I'm not coming with you. They already told me no, I'm not going to go, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, I'm scared. I'm nervous. Just come. Just pretend. And I'm like, okay, fine, I'll pretend. So I just did my makeup like normal, like whatever. And I did wear all black just so that I could get in with her. But we agreed she's going to hand in her application before me. And then by the time they call me is when we'll be gone, basically. So she hands in her application and I handed mine like 10 minutes later. And they called us at the same time to do our interview. And I was like, what the heck? So I'm like, whatever. And there was like 6 managers doing interviews. So she got one and I got another one. And I talked to this manager, 3 questions probably. And then when we left, I got an email from that same manager who was like, she's like, I really liked your personality. You were so pleasant and I have to have you at my counter. Oh, and that is how I ended up working at Mac.
Wow.
And that was my manager that I had for like all these years, Lisa Jones. Yeah, she's super, super nice. And I'm like so grateful that she even gave me the chance because that's where I learned everything. And that's how I started my freelance kit. She's also why I started my YouTube channel because I got a bunch of makeup. And I was like, oh, I could start a YouTube channel now because I have all this makeup. I could freelance now because I have all this makeup. So yeah, so I learned all of that from her. I learned so much there. And yeah, I'm just very grateful for that because that was like literally like a stepping stone. So yeah, after that, everything was just like, that's it.
It kind of already sounds like it was meant to be. Like
yeah,
you were
it's
meant
weird,
to go
right?
when you did, and you were meant to get the no when you did.
Yes,
3 months later.
yes.
And then to only go back with your friend and then apply. So it's like
it's crazy. It's honestly, I was just like, all of this is meaning something. So yeah, that was like October of 2014, and literally I just left there. So. But yeah, we'll fast forward to that part after.
Yeah, no, that was such a journey for you. Wow, I didn't know it was like that because I didn't.
Yeah, you were like, how the heck did you get there? Yeah.
Yeah, because I knew you were interested, but I didn't know there was like you had a passion for makeup. So
yeah, I honestly didn't know I even had a passion. To be honest, I just knew I liked it. I was like, oh, cool, working at Mac, cool, like just another job or whatever. But they actually paid like really well at that time. And I was like, oh, wow, like, just do makeup on people and I get this much money? I'm sick.
I know. And so, like, when you first got the job, because, like, you didn't go to school to do makeup.
I didn't go to school.
That's not a prerequisite, is it? For working?
So, here's the thing. I feel like, yes, a lot of stores at that time, now Mac will hire whoever, like, as long as you have customer service, they'll hire you. They'll give you a chance. You can do some makeup. Because a lot of people can do makeup now. I'm not going to lie. But at that time, it was very, like, everybody that I worked with went to school for makeup. And I was the only person at the counter who didn't. So they'd be like, what school did you go to? And I'm like, I didn't. I was actually in school for HR.
I remember that.
I freaking hated it. But I was like, whatever. So yeah. And I thought that I had to have a portfolio and all this other stuff because everybody had a portfolio. Everybody had like all this other stuff. Kit, everything. And I'm like, I only have 5 brushes to my name. I only have 2 MAC eyeshadows and that's it, Wow. So I was just like, whatever. But working there, they give you gratis and I just collected a bunch of stuff from working there. Now I have like an abundance.
Yeah. Wow. So you were there for a while now, and I know that during your journey there, you started a YouTube channel. So tell me about that. Like, when did you start a YouTube channel during working at Mac?
Yes. So basically, I started my channel. I didn't have a camera at the time when I started, and I always like even in high school, that's what I used to do: watch YouTube videos. I wasn't really watching TV. I was on YouTube like 24/7, and I loved it. I loved watching it. And I was like, oh, I could do the same thing that these girls are doing, or stuff like that, But I just felt like, oh, I don't have a camera, or I don't have the equipment that they have, whatever. And then it's like, as soon as I got all of that makeup, I was like, okay, I could do this. Like, I can do different looks because of different stuff, and I could just start now. But still didn't have a camera. And I always had an iPhone, but at that time I had like a Samsung S4, I think it was called. So I had that for like 8 months. And I remember I dropped it. The phone screen was broken, and I was at Yorkdale Mall. I was walking by maybe like Fido or somewhere, one of these phone counters, wireless wave. So a guy was like to me, he's like, whoa, what an ugly phone. And I was like, what? He's like, what an ugly phone. And I was like, what? I was like, is he talking to me? And I'm like, what? And he's like, that phone screen is really ugly. And I was like, oh my God. Yeah, I was like, oh my God. It was the person that worked there. And I'm like, because I had it in my hand. Oh. So he's like, you need a new phone. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, yeah, I do need a new phone, but I can't afford it. He's like, oh, we're doing like a trade-in right now. Like if you trade that in, we take off some money off your new phone. And I said, okay, what phone can I get? And at that time, I think he said like a 6, and we'll take off this much money, and then you just pay this much. No contract, no nothing, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, sick. Like, I'll do that. So I literally got a new phone that day. And then I was like, oh, the quality of the camera is so good. I could start making videos on this. And literally, I swear to everything. I mean, I swear on everything. I went to Pacific Mall after. Got a little phone tripod, and I would just stack up books and just sit in front of my window and started filming like that.
And then obviously you learned how to edit and all that.
Yes,
as it came up.
It's weird because like before having a channel, I used to watch videos on how to edit because one of my favorite YouTubers, Shameless Maya. Yeah, I love Shameless Maya. And she used to do a lot of videos on like, she used to do Tech Tuesdays. Yeah, so I loved her so much to the point where I would watch those videos, even though I didn't have any like tech equipment or a channel or anything, but I used to watch. So by the time that came around, I was like, oh, I could just reference back to her videos and then edit like that. So yeah, that's basically how I learned how to edit. A lot of her videos helped me a lot. So
yeah, I just kind of figured it out as I went along because I didn't even know what was entailed. Like I didn't know what was involved with like making a video. I just knew how to point and shoot, and then I was like, okay, editing, because I think I've seen how to edit before. Like my brother, maybe I've seen it somewhere, and then I was like, okay, so it was pretty intuitive for me how to do that. And then when I had to do a voiceover, I remember asking you, I'm like, how do you do those things? And you're like, I gotta film the audio and then put it on top. And I was like, okay, I got it. Yeah. It's like a whole process.
It's like each video was a whole learning process. Yeah.
So I guess, so you started up your YouTube channel, and I guess, like, what was the why behind starting a channel? You said that you'd seen it before, and you were like, I can do this.
I was like, I could do this. And also, I would always get questions like, oh, how do you, like, say, like, how did you do your eyeliner like that? Or whatever, stuff like that. I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll just make a video about it. And then just watch the video, you know? So it was a lot of, like, oh, I get this question, I'll just make a video on it. Or... oh, you're asking about this? I'll just make a video. And
then, so, like, then what expectations did you have any for your YouTube channel? Like, did you know it would lead to where you are now?
I honestly had I was just like, yeah, like, whatever. Put a video on there. And I was, like, scared, but it's like, I like that feeling. I like when something's scary to me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll just put it up and see what everybody says, you know, kind of thing. And the feedback was like so positive. So I'm like, oh, I'll do another one and another one and another one. But I wasn't consistent. That's the part. Yeah. And I wasn't expecting anything of my channel, to be honest. I was just like, whatever, post a video and that's it. I had no plan, no nothing.
It was just fun for you.
Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's just exciting, or like, it was just like, just do it and that's it. And just whatever happens, happens. But the planning and the seriousness came like a little like years later after that.
I guess, like, was it because you hit a certain amount of followers or subscribers that you were like, okay, this is actually,
you're like, this is serious. Okay, here's what happened. So basically, like, when I got my first 100 subscribers, I'm like, oh my god, I got 100 subscribers. I felt like I was like a million, you know. And I even made a post and everything, and I just got 100 subscribers. Next is 1 million, you know.
Big jump.
Yeah, what a jump. And then, so I got to 100, and then maybe I literally would probably post like once a month. It wasn't like consistent. The growth wasn't consistent or anything like that. And then YouTube made that new rule where it wasn't...
you had to like hit that.
Yeah, like
minimum.
They literally just was like, yeah, you have to hit a minimum. And I was like, oh, you know what? This is getting too serious now. I'm like, they're making it so hard and like not fun anymore. So I don't really want to post. So I took a break for like 2 months from YouTube. And at that time I had like 700 subscribers. And I was on Instagram. I was never one of those people who did like product reviews on my channel. Like, I honestly didn't like product reviews ever. Like, I would never watch somebody's video and be like, yeah, I think I'm going to buy that now. You know, never. And I'm like, people don't care to do that. I just always thought, if I don't care, nobody cares, right? False. So I was on Instagram and I saw Alyssa Ashley. She was posting like that NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation and how she collaborated with NYX to make some colors or whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. Maybe I'll actually try that foundation. Because at that time, I only ever used like MAC stuff. Because I used to get it at work.
Yeah.
You know? So basically I saw it and I was like, okay, like whatever. Later that day, I was walking on Queen Street and I was passing the NYX store and I saw the poster and I'm like, oh, you know, I'm going to go in and see that foundation. I literally went in, picked it up, and I was like, okay, like I'll try it one of these days. The following week, I try it, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me just record myself trying it. Recorded, tried it, whatever. Everyone got my expression, like, as is, raw, whatever. and I posted it, and it's like that video just catapulted quickly. Yeah, it literally got like 10,000 views like ASAP, and I was like, what the heck? People care to watch me just try a new product? That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
Or it seemed crazy to me at least. And then poof, like within 2 weeks, I went from 700 to 1,000 subscribers, and I was like, whoa, I'm at 1,000, you know? And I'm like, and then my goal was to just get monetized. So I needed 4,000 watch hours. So I was like, okay, I'm going to post another video same day next week. So I tried another foundation, the Maybelline 24-hour whatever. It came out at around that time as well. So I tried that out. Same thing, like 10,000 views. And I was like, whoa, I'm just going to keep doing this. So literally for like a year, I was just trying new stuff, like new eyeshadow palettes, new concealers, foundation, whatever. Everything, fancy lip stuff, whatever. Those videos all did like so good. So yeah. Wow. And then poof, I got to 10,000 like within a few months, honestly. I was like, what?
I just think about makeup and I'm like, damn, wish I knew how to do makeup. Like, my channel is just sharing food and recipes, which is good too, but like, it's just, I don't know. No. But the thing is, even my channel now, like, there was a point when it got to, it's like the products that were coming out weren't exciting anymore. You know, so I was like, nobody cares about this, or like nobody. And so then I felt like I'm like, I have to change up my channel a little bit. So I added in like vlogs and stuff.
Vlogs and like try on hauls, hair, etc., etc. So yeah.
But like, did you like doing only product reviews, or did you want more for your channel?
Here's the thing. So I enjoyed it, and then after a while, I was like, this is so repetitive. Like, just try something new. And the product review like world is like, I didn't realize it was such a hustle, because I swear to you, if something comes out today, what I would do, okay, I follow this page called Trend Mood. Trend Mood shows all the makeup products or beauty products that are coming out way before they come out. So if something's coming out next month, they post and they're like, oh, we'll post the release date soon, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
So I would follow, and I have a category in my Instagram called Launch. So I would literally save all the products that I want to try out. Yeah. When it comes out that same day, I would go to Sephora or wherever the product is, usually Sephora. Literally, it comes out today, I'm going to Sephora today. Go home either that day or film the next day, edit, and then put it up. I would try to do that within like the first 3 days of the product coming out, because that is when it is the most relevant. Yeah,
that's golden time.
Literally, if you even wait 1 week, that's like a jump in how much views you'll get.
Crazy. So it's its own like whole
exactly
niche on YouTube. It's like makeup, but then makeup product review.
Yeah, seriously, because
it does.
It's crazy, because I'm like, okay, whatever. Like before, I was just doing makeup looks, and it's like, unless somebody's specifically searching for that, I'm not gonna get the views really. And I found that like that kind of like opened up a whole new part of YouTube for me, because it's like you have to search what is searchable. Or like you have to look into what's searchable content.
Be more intentional about it. I find like with my videos, I just post what I want to post, because I'm going through it, and like then I notice that I'll get like maybe less than 100 views, and I'm like, you know what? That shouldn't make me feel less than, even though like I don't have the numbers behind it, because like I've poured a lot of work into making those videos sometimes.
Yes. And for me, I was like, you know what? It was getting boring, to be honest, to post like reviews all the time. I was like, okay. But I did sacrifice just doing reviews strictly, because I'm like, okay, to me, I saw it as like, bring all the light, like shine the light on yourself. And then when you have everybody, then just do what you want after that.
That's true.
It's like grow your platform and then just like do what you want to do after. But for me, I'm like, it was a slow growth prior to.
I always feel like guilty. Like I talked about it in another episode where I felt like, I was like, oh no, I was living up to their expectations of me, not really doing what I want to do. So like, I feel like it's like, if I've gotten all these people to know me for one thing and then I switch it up on them, it's like, I feel bad, but I shouldn't, because I can always change my mind. Like, it doesn't matter.
And they're there because they like you. Because honestly, people can watch whatever product reviews they want, but I feel like they come back because they like my commentary or whatever, you know?
Yeah, and they kind of get to know you. They build a relationship with a YouTube personality. It's interesting how that works. But knowing all of that, like, it just seems like everything fell into place in your life when it was meant to. When did you start writing things down? When did you start incorporating that sort of aspect?
So the thing is, I started keeping agendas and journals for maybe like, let's just say probably 5 years, right? But nothing was like super intentional. It was just like, I have maybe an idea, but I never go back to it almost. And then in like 2017, I'd say, is when I started writing down like goals. Like every new year, I would be like, okay, 2017 goals. And then I'd write a whole list of stuff and then never go back to it. I would literally write out a list and it's like, I don't look at it until the next new year. And I'm like, are you crazy? You know?
Yeah.
So then one year, I was like, oh my God, I just feel like I'm not doing anything. Although my channel was like growing and stuff, I still felt like I'm not doing anything. You know, all I do is just go to work, same thing.
Very stagnant. I get the feeling. Yep.
Yep. On my day offs, film, edit, post, back to work. And it just felt so like, ugh.
Monotonous. Like, very,
like a hamster wheel. I'm like, it's the same thing every time. So basically I was like, all right, I kind of want something new. Somebody had asked me to be they were doing some like web girl talk, like a group girl talk thing on Facebook. And it's like the first question that they asked me was, so what's next for you? Or something like that. No, first you have to say what you do and then you have to say what's next. Oh. And I remember just being like, damn, I don't know. I felt like trash. I was like, I don't know what's next. Like, I actually don't have an answer. I had no answer. I was like, what's next? I never thought about that. But I knew like things that I would like to do. I had an idea. I'm like, okay, I feel like I could do this or I feel like I'd like to do that. But I had no like, there was no like active plan. There was no like, this is what I'm going to be doing. Or I just felt like I wasn't working on anything. I was very like in the moment, what I'm currently doing, and that's it. So I'm like, damn, you have to start writing some stuff out. And during that time, I heard like on, it was like a Facebook, somebody posted something on Facebook and it was a Courtney Saunders episode. And basically she was just talking about the steps to success, like five key steps to success. So she just said like, you know, write down a goal, 3 to 5 goals. She said, don't make a whole list like what I was doing before. Do 3 to 5 and then touch on those goals each day. At least one thing, contribute one thing towards that goal each day. So if it's like saving money, it's like, okay, what did you contribute towards saving money today? Like, you know, did you look into methods of how you can save? Did you look into methods of how you can pay off your debt? Did you actually save something today? Like something, just so you're always remembering your goal. And for me, I was never, like if I wrote something down, I was never touching on it. I would just be like, oh yeah, I remember, I think I want to do this and it's the end of the year now. You know, so I'm like, no, I'm tired of living like this. I need to be doing stuff. So fast forward, I always wrote lists. I always tried to manifest, but I wasn't actively working on the things I'm trying to make happen until maybe like last year. Last year is when I was like, okay, for sure. But I always keep all my journals. So the studio, I had written that down in 2016 and I was never actively working towards it until recently.
Do you think it's because you didn't know? Yeah. Because sometimes for me, it's like I write down things. Like, I write down a lot of things. But then when I think logically, I'm like, well, how am I going to get there from what I'm doing now?
Yes. So for me, like how we said earlier about my original idea was to have a bridal studio. It could still happen, but I'm somebody who's very stuck in like, oh, if it doesn't happen 100% like this, I'm not doing it. You know, it's like I'll be like, oh, I want to save this amount, but if I can't save that amount, I'm not saving. You know, it's very like, I was weird like that.
Like black or white.
Black or white, yeah. And I'm like, no, I have to be in the gray somehow with some things. You know, it can't be like so left or right. Yeah. So that was number one. I had to be like, okay, you can't be so stuck on having it exactly how you want it. And then I remember one time I heard this term of like, it's like a child trying to catch a butterfly. They catch the butterfly, but they're so excited and they crush it and they kill it. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm that kid. I want something so bad that I'm stifling it, you know? So I'm just like, forget it. Like, you have to relax, chill, you know? Whatever happens, happens. If you can do it, you can do it. If you can't, you can't. Whatever you can do, you do. And that's it. So for the studio, to be honest, for a lot of things that's been happening this year, but in October of last year, like how I said, oh, I was tired of everything being so repetitive. October of last year, I was like, I don't know what is going to take. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but I want 2020 to just be a whole different experience. Like completely different, nothing the same as what I'm doing now. Like I don't even want the same schedule. I don't want nothing to look like how it's looked the previous years. Like, I want everything to be a completely different vibe. Like something just different, but I didn't know what. And I was like, okay, what you're going to do is write down stuff that you would like, or maybe a feeling you would like, and what would give you that feeling, and just write that down. And then I'm going to organize it into quarters. So I wrote down things like, you know, debt free, save money. I put studio. I put work with bigger brands. I put so much stuff. Like, I even put down 30th birthday party, like just stuff that I would want. And then I made a whole list. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to split it up into quarters for 2020. So like first quarter, this and this. Second quarter, this and this. Third, fourth, whatever. And so first quarter, whatever. First quarter was pretty soft because I know I don't like to hackle at myself, you know, the first quarter. January to March, I'm like, whatever. And then I noticed that like even some things that I put for first quarter, March was coming and I was like, you didn't even do that yet, you know? So I was like, okay, like what the heck? I'm not doing anything, you know? I just kind of had that feeling again or whatever. And I'm like, you know what? Relax. Like the year, you're just first quarter in. There's 3 more quarters. Like chill. And then COVID hit.
Yeah.
COVID hit. But it is so crazy because COVID was like the best.
I think, COVID was what propelled a lot of people either into their businesses or into their passions or, you know, whatever was meant for them.
Yeah. COVID
I think it did that for a lot of people.
It honestly just like, I don't know what. It's like as soon as COVID hit, it's like that's when stuff started happening for me. I was like, whoa. Like every day I was like, is this real? Like, this can't be real. I'm like, no. I just almost felt like it was too good to be true. And like something bad is going to happen. That's almost how I felt. Because that's when I did the video for Pretty Little Thing. Morphe's Glam Fam was like their little baby PR list. And like there was a few other things and I was like, oh my God, like why now? Like all of a sudden all this stuff is happening, you know? And then basically for the studio, funny thing, okay? In October, I put studio for second quarter. But it's like when March came, just before the whole lockdown, I was like, oh, let me look at my second quarter plans. And I saw studio and I was like, yeah, I might have to put that to fourth quarter as planned for studio for 2021. I literally was like, okay, I'm going to move it to the end of the year because that's not happening anytime soon. Forget it. Like, I'm going to move it to planning for 2021. And I have a friend, well, that's who I opened it up with. Chanel. My friend Chanel. Hey, Chanel. But basically, me and her had looked at a few places before COVID and stuff. And I was like, I'm okay, let's just stop looking until like we find something that we actually like. I'm still not thinking it's really going to happen. I was just like, okay, cool. Like, we're looking, whatever. And then in April, this is when like everything's closed. Like, why are we even considering this? She calls me and she's like, oh, I found a place. And I was like, what the heck? Like, why are you even looking? Everything's closed. We're not supposed to be looking at anything. Like, we're not opening anything. Like, why are we looking? And she's like, no, meet me tomorrow at 12 at this place and da da da. So I said, okay. Like, I'm still like, okay, whatever. It's not happening, but whatever. Yeah. So I go and look with her and she tells me how much. And I was like, okay. It looked like not so cute, but I was just like, I don't know what it was. It's like when I got there, I was like, I feel like this could work. Like, I legit was like, yeah. It was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, okay. And then I told her, I'm like, okay, fine, yeah, we'll do it. I don't know what just made me feel like, okay, this is it. Like, we're going to do it. And it's like, even me saying we're going to do it, I still was kind of like skeptical. I was like, yeah, I could say we're going to do it, but in the end, it's going to fall through and it's not going to happen, whatever. And in 2 seconds, like, poof, they drafted up a contract. We went back and forth, revised it, and then we signed it. And I was like, okay, I signed it, but it's still not going to happen. Like, something's going to happen where it's not going to happen. And then they were like, okay, it's yours. And we're like, oh, damn, that's it. So I started buying all my stuff from IKEA, and it still didn't feel real. And then when I got all my stuff, I'm like, okay, maybe it'll feel real now. No. Then I brought all my stuff in, set up everything. I'm like, okay, like, I'm setting up my stuff, but it's still not happening. And then when it was all done, I was like, wow, like, is this for real? And it was crazy because that's when I went back to my journal and I was like, wow, I said second quarter and it's second quarter.
So you said when you first started to write out like how you want the year to play out, you were like, I'm going to write it and then I'm going to feel how it would be.
Yes, I just want to like...
How did you do that feeling part?
Yeah, first in October, I was just like, I just wanted my year to feel like okay, I don't know how to describe it, but you know, just picture, close your eyes and picture you have no debts, you have money, summertime, you know, you have your friends, you could go wherever you want. Oh, you want to go to the beach? Okay, cool. We're going to go to the beach, have some drinks, have some fun. Like, you know, you have your own business. You can go when you want, leave when you want. That's it. That's just the feeling that I wanted. I just wanted to, like, you know, enjoy, like, just almost like no responsibilities, but you have responsibilities, you know?
Like you're very secure and you have
I'm secure.
Like your own you know, freedom.
Yeah, I'm free. Exactly. So I just wanted to be free, and it's like I'm not worrying about paying bills. And the thing is, it's like that's not the case. I don't want to say that's not the case. I still have to pay for everything, but it's just like I'm very lighthearted with everything at this current moment, you know?
So like, okay, wait, a question. How many times did you like feel that feeling? Like how did you do it?
Throughout, did you do before
it once,
or
and then that was it? Or like every time you thought about your goals, you thought?
You know what? Not every time I thought about my goals, because it's weird. I'm a very skeptical person. Like,
okay.
Even this whole process, I was like, okay, maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe it's not going to work. Maybe and it's like, oh, it's working all right, you know? And it's weird because quarantine just made me get into that mind frame of, okay, just believe it'll happen. Like, you're very deserving. It'll happen. Like, you can't even say it won't happen. Because, for example, like for Pretty Little Things, I reached out to them. They probably have like so many emails coming to them. And for some reason, I was like, you know what? Let me email them. I have a Magic Links, right, account. And I've done 2 hauls for them already, like with my own money, bought the stuff myself, whatever. And I decided to just go on my Magic Links to see like what are my top sales from. And it was from Pretty Little Thing. And I saw that I was doing like 10,000 USD for them. And I said, excuse me, 10,000 USD I'm making for you guys. And my commission is like, you know, what do they give? 10% or something? And I'm like, no. So I took my stats, and this is something that, like when I was doing the reviews and stuff, and it made me see a whole different world of YouTube. I knew nothing about Magic Links and stuff, but I knew from doing product reviews, hey, I put the links in my video and I can make commission back from the stuff that I'm buying, right? Which is what was happening. And then I learned about affiliate links and everything like that. So basically with learning about affiliate links, I was like, oh, I'm going to research some more. And I found videos of like how to email brands. I read that book, Influencer, by Brittany Hennessy. It just talked about like, she's like social media marketer. She manages like influencers. Okay. So she does the sending out the emails. Exactly. I read that book. I saw her like example emails and all that type of stuff, or like the formats. And that's basically what I did. I was like, okay, I'm going to tell you guys first, I love you guys so much. This is what I've done for you guys. This is what I want from you guys. And, you know, I look forward to hearing from you, you know? But it's funny because I had emailed them before, no response. This is like last year. But when I sent my stats and everything, poof, I got an email the same day. And the person that I emailed wasn't even the person. She's like, oh, I'm going to forward this email to this person who deals with that stuff. And later that day, she emailed me back, and she's like, this is what we can do with you. Pick 10 items, blah, blah, blah. You can do a video. Thank you so much. You know? So all of that happened during quarantine. And I was like, oh my God. But during that process, I was like, it's not going to happen.
Really?
They're not even going to respond to me, but I'll shoot my shot. Who cares? What's the worst? You know, I'm going to hear no. And I legit was like, they're not going to respond. And they responded. And then same thing with Morphe. I actually emailed them saying, hey, like, I just want to do an Instagram takeover if that's possible. And they're like, oh, no, but we want to put you on this list where we could send you free stuff. And I was like, what? So it's like, if I never asked or if I never put it out there, it would have never happened, right? So
interesting. Because like all these books and everything that I watch, they always say like you have to feel it real. So that's why I asked you like, how often did you do this? Because for me, I'm very skeptical too. So I'll say one thing, but believe another. And then that's when I try to feel it real. But then it's like, and then I keep doing it. And it's like, okay, I can't overdo it. Because it's kind of like.
It's almost like. Okay, here's the thing. Same thing you're doing, because I've read so much books as well, or like watch a lot of videos where it's like, oh, you have to like say your goal is to, I don't know, open a hair company. You have to see yourself receiving the packages, sending out the packages. What's that feeling of you receiving money, right? And I used to do that, and I'm like, ugh, nothing's happening, you know? Nothing's happening. I'm like, okay, you're being doubtful or blah, blah. But for me, one thing that was always like a thing, and it never changed, never changed. And I was always like this from a kid. I always believe in what I'm doing. Like 100%. Like if I say I'm going to do something, I'm like, yeah, it's going to happen. But I'm also like guarded in a way. I'm like, I want this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try it. And if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Like that. But the feeling of like, okay, force the feeling like, yeah, I'm doing this. It's working. I stopped doing that.
It didn't work for you.
It wasn't working for me, to be honest. I'm like nothing's happening. Da, da, da. But I do believe whatever is for you will legit happen for you. Like, end of story.
I said that for you as well when you said that you signed for the place and you still didn't think it was real, and then you started buying the products. Well, actually, so you signed for the place and then you didn't think it was real. But then you made all these things happen that made it become real.
Yes, exactly.
It was kind of like once you made the decision, once you signed on the dot, that's when you kind
of for me, I'm very much like that. I always will like throw myself into something, even if I'm not 100% sure. I'll be like, I don't know about this, but do it anyway. Literally, because I like that whole like,
you never know.
Yeah, you never know. And my biggest fear is wondering what if.
That's
like,
me.
I hate being like, oh, what if I didn't do it, you know?
Hence why we're on the podcast.
Yes.
Because I'm like, I can't, like, what would have happened if you didn't do this? Like, you know, yeah.
I'm
so
like,
that's how I think too.
I hate wondering what if. It's like, damn, so lame.
Because that's like my biggest fear is to live a life of like regretting what would have happened if I had done X, Y, and Z.
Exactly.
Like, that's my biggest fear.
Same thing with me. I'm always like, take that damn chance. Like, just do it. Because even when I was there, I was like, I don't know about this place, but it can happen. It could work. I'm like, you know what? Just sign. And if you sign, you're locked in. And I was like, what's the worst that can happen? It's a year lease. What's the worst, you know? I don't know. Honestly, I mean, it could be.
Yeah, there's a lot
of worse. But I was just like,
no.
I always just feel like I'm not meant to live in hardship, you know? So it's like, I won't. If I do this, I'm not going to be homeless. Like, if I do this and it doesn't work out, I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you know? So I'm like
your life isn't over.
Yeah, my life won't be over. So that's what I mean by like, what's the worst? Because my worst would be like, no money, homeless, like, you know, stuff like that. I'll be like, damn. And I'm like, if I do this, like, I won't end up like that. So just do it. I don't know. I just feel like it won't work out like that. So just do it. Who cares, you know? Or see what happens.
So, like, what advice would you give someone that is trying to manifest their dreams into reality through writing it down? What would you say?
I'd say, like, first, number one, write it down. Also, another thing I don't do as well, my journal strictly only has stuff that I want in it. Like, stuff that I don't put, like, I'm not calculating my debt in there. I'm not doing any of that.
So it's like a manifesting journal only.
Yes. Yeah. It's only for my goals and stuff, like positive stuff. I don't even write anything negative. Like, if you think negatively about money, do not even write that in there. Get a next piece of paper. Don't put that in there. That's number one. So I do that, and then just think of how it can happen. Like, literally, if, say, like for me, opening the studio, and then I found out how much it was, I was like, okay, the first thing I did, so this is how much money I need to have for the month. This is how much I need to have each week. Okay, cool. This is how much I get paid. And then if I have this much clients, like if worst came to worst, if I had to pay from my own pocket, this is what it would be. Or I'd have to have this much clients to have my rent plus my profit. You know, I had to do the math. Yeah. The math. Like, so I went backwards. Like, what can I do to have this thing? Right? So write it down. Then number two, think about what are the steps to even get there? That's it. And then number three, it's like so easy, guys. Just do it. Just do it. Don't even think about it. Because I find if you even think about it, like, you will literally like talk yourself out of it. I'm pretty sure if I did not sign that paper, like if I said, oh, let me think about it, it probably wouldn't have happened. Somebody else would have come snatch up that place and I'd have been like, damn, I should have did it, you know? But I know me. I'm like, I overthink. If I think about something too long, I will not do it.
That's why you had to like sign it.
I had to sign it. I had to be like, oh, damn, you guys drafted up the contract? Yep, signing that.
Wow.
That's it. Signing this right now. Because it's like you're forced. It's like, oh, well, I'm here. That's it. Gotta do it now.
Wasn't it kind of also like, did you feel like an urge, a pull? Like, was there a calling that was like, this is it, you need to sign it type of thing?
I felt like, those. Here's the thing. I didn't feel like a pull, but I didn't feel like, I almost didn't feel, I don't want to say nervous, but I didn't feel like a no.
Yeah. Like,
I always say to myself as well, if it's not a no, it's a yes. Like, if you're thinking about something and you're not saying, nah, this is bad, then it's a yes. Just do it then, you know? So I didn't feel like, oh, this is a bad idea. And I was like, okay, then we're doing it.
Yeah.
That's
so
it.
Maybe that was your intuition.
Yeah, maybe that was seriously. And even for me as well, it's like I was doing makeup at home. But the thing is, it's like I wasn't really promoting myself that much. Like I was just pushing my YouTube stuff more so, but not so much my freelance, because I hate just bringing so much people in my house. So I was like, you know what? This is the little space that you're talking about. Like, just do it, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because literally I have so much more bookings now than ever before. Like, than ever, you know? And it's just like when people see that you have like a designated area, they're going to feel comfy to come, you know?
They're going to be like, oh, this is a business.
They're like, this is a business. This is professional. I'm going there.
Real makeup artist.
Oh, it's not in her bedroom now. Okay.
Don't kill me. Okay. Yeah. So let's circle back to the first question that you couldn't answer like 5 years ago.
Yes.
What is next for Sanny Beauty?
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, I'll be very honest with you guys, because whatever. Here's another thing. Because, okay, I just want to say something. Me and Sherese had talked about something the other day. So, we were talking about if you have a goal or a plan, do you like to tell people?
Yep.
That's what we were talking about. Do you like to tell people, right? Or do you keep it to yourself? And I was saying like it was like a half and half. Like when this whole process was happening, it was like so quick to me, because the whole going back and forth with the revising of the contract, it was like a whole 2-week thing. By the time I signed, it was like, oh, time to decorate. Oh, now we're open, you know? My friends didn't know that I was even opening anything. Or that it was in the works. No, they didn't know it was even opening. I literally told them when it was already like
done.
It was basically done, and I was like, "Oh, guys, I'm opening a studio," and they're like, "What?" So that's basically what happened. But not so much because like I was like, "Oh my god, if I say, they're gonna crush my dreams." But it's just because it happened so quickly. But I'm very much somebody who's like, if I'm planning something, I kind of like to say it also because it almost holds me accountable.
It kind of like, to me, it kind of like makes it...
It's like it makes it permanent. Yeah. Or else someone's going to be like, didn't you say you're going to, you know? And I'll be like, oh, my stomach.
Yeah.
So, so I'm going to tell you guys, because I was going to say, oh, no, I don't want to say what's next. But...
That's you.
No. I'll say what's next because it'll hold me like very accountable, because there's a lot of people listening. But, so I'm going to be coming out with my brush line.
Brushes.
Yes, my brushes. Yes, Sherese knows about it. So I'm going to announce it here. Exclusive. You guys heard it first before my YouTube subscribers, okay? But yeah, so that is what I'm working on now. It's just, it's in the works. It's happening, you know?
I feel like, and also it's like you're on this...
It's like a ball rolling.
Effect. Yeah. So it's like the first thing was, I guess... quitting your job, I guess. But then
oh my gosh, guys! I didn't even talk about that. Sherese just jumped over. Okay, let me tell you guys. Okay, and this is why we were even like talking about manifestation the other day. But okay, so my lease said June 15th is when we open, but because of the bylaws, like the band and everything, if the restrictions weren't lifted by June 15th, then the opening date will be July 1st. So June 15th comes, we don't know what's happening with the restrictions or whatever. And literally like you guys already know I work for Mac. But because of COVID and stuff, like, you know, they're restructuring the business. And of course, some people have to get let go, or hours are being cut, or whatever they're planning to do. So June 15th on paper is what we signed off on for our studio date to be open. That day comes, of course, the laws are not lifted, so we're not open yet. And June 16th, I had a call with HR and basically like my manager's boss saying that either A, my hours can get cut, or B, I could take a severance package and I won't be working there anymore. And literally I was like, what? But you know, the funny thing is, and this is why I say, just say what you want to say, like say it out loud, because you never know, okay? During COVID, we were getting paid while we were not at work. So that was like a whole 2 months. And then I go back to work, and like maybe the second day I was like, damn, like I'm just not feeling this, you know, not really feeling it anymore. And I wish I could still get paid, but not work. Like I want to get paid from here, but not work. Just like COVID. I mean, just like when we were closed. Like just we're getting paid, but we're not at work. I'm like, I just want to still do that. You know, how can I get paid but not be at work? So when that happened, I was like, whoa, so I'm still going to be getting paid and I'm not going to be at work. But anyway, yeah. And it's on the 16th, the day after we were supposed to open technically. And I was like, whoa, this is weird.
That's so trippy for you. I'm like, what the hell?
Yeah, it's literally the next day.
Falling into place.
I'm like, yeah. So I'm like, yeah. Wow. So they told me to think about it and I was like, I already know what I'm going to do because this is what I was like, I wish this can happen. And look.
So when you said that, you just like let it go.
Yeah, I was like, I wasn't very like on it. I was just like, damn. I'm like, this ain't it. This ain't it, man. When I went back to work, I was like, this is not it. Like, I was like, oh, God, no. Like, it just doesn't feel like this is it anymore.
Yeah.
It just felt like the time expired.
It was a long time coming.
Yeah. For me, because every year I'm like, this October I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Like, this October. And it's funny because, like, my severance is basically, like, it ends, basically end of September. So, technically, October, I won't actually be tied anymore. You know?
Look at all those like,
and I was like, wow, there's a bunch of connections happening
and alignments happening.
Yeah, but number one is like you have to actually believe that it'll happen.
I'm working on it.
It's like believe, like it's for real gonna happen. But it's like in the meantime, just live your life, just do your thing. But for me, I always stayed I stayed in my lane. So it's like I wasn't like doing makeup on YouTube. Then I'm like something, and then I'm doing tech on the side, and then I'm doing blah blah. Like I always kept everything in line. Like you stayed true to like what I stayed true to what I was doing exactly, because I feel like that way you won't get cloudy or there's no distractions that way. You're staying in your lane.
Oh my gosh, so many things for me to take into account.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. But no, like thank you for telling your story, sharing your story with me and the listeners, because you know, obviously I believe in that so much, and I told you that hearing your story and just seeing how things have played out is also inspiring for me, because it just kind of like grounds me in like what I'm doing is possible as well.
Yeah, very possible.
I know it is, but like, you know, it just it helps to have people around you that are also like having things come in together. So
I would say anything's possible. I swear on everything. I'm like, if I didn't believe it then, I believe now, because I honestly still don't even believe that I have a studio. Like, it's not even real. It's still not even real. I'm like,
I thought it was at least real now.
No, it's still not. Every time I go there, I'm like, whoa, like this is real stuff.
Maybe in another like 2 months it'll hit you, but
it almost doesn't even feel real that I don't work.
Oh yeah,
like I'm not at work anymore. That I'm like, oh, what's my schedule? Oh yeah, I don't have one.
Yeah.
But no, that's so good. Yeah. Thanks for having me, Sherese.
Well, thank you for sharing your story.
Yes. So and also, guys, make sure you follow me on Instagram.
Right. Yeah. Sorry.
Gotta plug. Shameless plug.
How can they
Sanny
keep in contact?
Beauty. That's 2 Y's on Instagram. But once you type in Sanny Beauty, you'll find me. And then on YouTube, also Sanny Beauty.
Alright. There you guys have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And until next time,
bye, guys.
Bye.